Welcome back, everybody. Automotive Inc. Guess where we're going today? The dealership. Not to buy a new truck necessarily. It's because it's always a possibility. Loki's going back in again, and we're going to break down those things, why it's going back in again, for service. And it's not an oil change because I do that stuff on my own. So, here we go with this. Before we get started, make sure you smash the subscribe button, thumbs up at the end of the video, and notification bell so you don't post new content. Go over to the channel and check out how many problems I even had trying to find a 2024 and how many problems I've had since I did find the one I bought. So we're going to roll up and get it into the service. Now this dealer has been really awesome and the service guys have been really good with everything we've been doing. So no complaints here. This is Ford's problem. They need to figure it out. But we're going to come back here in a second once they get this bad boy checked in and see where we go from here. Alright guys, so we got Loki checked in. Loki's going in for the same issue yet again. I did have one viewer the other day say, shame on me for saying that I was going to eventually probably trade the truck no matter what. And if they don't get the problem fixed, it will become somebody else's. This viewer had a lemon at some point where they bought a low mileage one owner truck and unfortunately they did get stuck with it. And I wish there would be a fix because eventually I have to move on. This time the dealer said that they would keep the truck as long as they needed to try and figure it out. So I'm not trying to stick anybody with anything, but unfortunately that is kind of the nature of the beast, especially when you buy used out of warranty. You never know what you're going to get. That being said, guys, all of this stuff is logged on Carfax. So if you're going to go buy a used vehicle, ask the dealer for a Carfax. If they don't want to give you one, it's worth the 20 bucks. I'm not endorsed by Carfax, but I'm telling you, these services will come up. If you pull up a Carfax and it shows accidents or something like that, see if there's a little bit more elaboration of what that is. When it comes to services like this, if you see on there electrical concern, and really no remedy, even if they had a remedy, you may want to not buy that vehicle. Right? If it has a Carfax that just shows oil changes and tire rotations and it has 190,000 miles on it, I'd buy that truck over something that said it's been in the shop for the same thing 8 times. So just keep that in mind. I appreciate the viewer's feedback on that, and I do apologize for everybody that's in the automotive industry out there who've sold cars before that gets stuck with that. But that's what this channel is about, is trying to inform you on how to avoid those mistakes, because this crap ain't cheap. Now let's get back to the brass tacks of things. Loki's going back in for, again, the battery issue. So, even with the 2 amp on there, the battery's getting down to 30-40%. It's not holding a charger after I charge it fully all the way for more than a day before it gets down to 60, even with the 2 amp charger on there. Passive entry stopped working. Again, that's where you can walk up with the key and unlock it. Now, a long time ago, they did say, being a Lariat Ultimate, it has just about everything. Not like a Platinum, but pretty much everything. They said you could go in and turn everything off. Your alarm, okay, that seems like something you'd want to have availability to have on. You can turn off the passive entry, the approach lighting, which I leave early for work in the morning. I like the truck to light up as I walk near it, and I like to not have to take my key out of my pocket. It stopped doing all those things. Usually you can charge it up, drive it, and it'll reset it. It did not. Dome light stopped working. 12-inch screen stopped working. It would come back on eventually, but these features just kept doing it. Then it got to the point where down in the gauges it would say, please start or need a key for the truck. I don't remember what the hell it said. It said restart now or key needed for truck. I think that's exactly what it said. And it was starting to unlock itself again. With my keys on the workbench in the garage, 30 feet away, I could be walking by, getting in my car, alarm sensors are turned off, and it would unlock itself. I would get out of the gym, lock it with the touchpad on the door because the passive entry system didn't work, and it would then unlock as I'm walking away. That's a security concern because I know all of us keep stuff in our car, so we don't want people getting into it. And if it's going to unlock randomly, alarms were going off even with the alarm turned off. And so I finally had to go back in. And so they're going to keep it until they can deem whatever the heck's going on. It's over a year now, so I doubt they'll replace the battery for free. But hopefully, the battery's probably shot. Hopefully they'll work me a deal or get in contact with Ford, because this has been an issue since before I even bought it. If you haven't watched those videos, go back to the channel, type in Ford problems, and I'll bring this up. I went through 3 Super Duties that had issues from the factory, mismatched headlights, everything like that. Those are comical to watch. You gotta check it out. But when I went down to pick up Loki, they basically told me, I was testing everything before I leave. Passive entry wouldn't work. They had it for about an hour or so. Said couldn't sell to me that day because it's a safety concern if the doors are locking or not unlocking, whatever. They kept it for another week. Said it got it fixed. Went back down, and probably within a week or 2 of getting it, it started having these issues. And it's been to the dealer now 15 times for this. So people would say lemon law. Look at lemon law. Okay, well, lemon law is different per state, and it's based on how it's written up. So to get it to categorize as something like that where you're going to get Ford to buy it back, you can get attorneys, you can do all that stuff, you can try and use the lemon law, but you already agree in Colorado when you sign your paperwork to arbitration, meaning you got to give them every opportunity to do everything they possibly can between the dealer and Ford to get this thing fixed. It's not that easy. I had an 11 Power Stroke that had been in the shop 62 days for the exact same issue, and it still wouldn't work after talking to a lemon law attorney. So, when it comes down to that can't be my route. So they're going to keep it until they can figure this out. I'm hoping the 24s that are out, Ford came across this problem. I cannot be the only one. So hopefully they will have addressed it at some point throughout their system. Over the air updates aren't working, trickle charger's not working, and if they can't fix it this time, then I don't know where we go from here. But that is the update today. I want to again throw this out there. My salesperson, Phil Long Ford here in Denver, has been outstanding about listening to the complaints, trying to address it, give me something to drive in the interim. Based on, that's just the dealer that they are. They've been very fair. They've been very kind. I've never once gotten this slough off thing that you get a lot from dealers. But to be honest with you, I called other dealers that were closer to my house that don't ever give you loaners. And they're like, we're not even going to touch it because it's a battery issue from the original dealer. It's called lot rot, whatever you want to call it. And we're not going to touch it, etc. so forth, which sounds like BS. But why even drive over there just to try and drop it on them, and they're not going to do anything anyway? Phil Long has been outstanding. They're not paying me to say this. They haven't hooked me up with anything crazy to like free coffee or donuts, which I would love, to say anything nice about them. This is just a genuine statement. I've bought so many cars and trucks from so many dealers that by far this is the best treatment I've got at any dealer probably in a long time, other than my Subaru dealers. So very fond of that. So this is going to be, I guess, our newest update on Loki and how it's going, what it's going back in for. And then once I get it back, there'll be another video on what they found and stuff like that. But guys, if you're going to look at a new Ford or Chevy or Ram or anything, and you get there and the stuff's not working correctly, don't buy the truck. Okay? Don't buy the truck. Or make them, if you're planning on keeping it for, make them hoggle an extended warranty in for free. But it's not going to prevent the headache of having the issue and having to constantly go back to the dealer to try and figure it out. I know that's not everybody's experience, and I think that Loki runs good as a truck. However, all those electrical systems going wonky, who's to say one that actually controls something while I'm driving couldn't go out? But yeah, if you're going to a dealer looking at a brand new truck and already has issues, I'm going to give you a stern suggestion: don't buy the truck. If it's high and tight, you're probably going to eventually have some type of issues that come up, and you'll deal with that. But don't go in and buy a used car or a new car knowing it already has issues unless you're willing to deal with the headache that comes with it. And I did my diligence by waiting for them, and they said, hey, we'll take care of it. They thought they had it fixed and everything, but unfortunately, it just did not. So at the end of the day, guys, I appreciate you guys being here, and make sure you come back and watch the follow-up video on this. Catch you on the next one.